Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Ryan, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you and walking you guys through exactly how I've made over $1 million selling IULs. This is going to be an exact breakdown of my 2-call close that I've used to close thousands of IULs throughout my life insurance career. I own a virtual life insurance agency called Enhanced Wealth. I have over 500 agents that sell within my firm. And we do everything from IULs and annuities to everything to final expense, term, LBs, all that stuff. So we fully do everything. We do leads, we do warm market, we do mainly production, we do recruit and build. We are literally a hybrid of everything. So on this channel, you're going to find a ton of videos about products, sales, everything. So today I'm going to be specifically breaking down my 2-call close process. The first call close is the discovery call, which I'll be breaking down first. And then after we break down exactly what I do in my discovery call, I'm also going to be breaking down my second call close, which is on the Zoom, where I'm actually selling, sharing my screen on Zoom, walking the client through the illustration, and ultimately submitting the application and closing the business. So let's jump into the discovery call. The discovery call for me is always just like a 15 to 20 minute phone call. And what I'll do is I'll always write down the client's name that I'm going to be talking to, and then I'll be writing down all the notes from all the information and fact finding that I gather from the actual discovery call itself. So what ends up happening is I'm running them through the first 3 letters of the closer's framework. Now, if you've never heard of the closer's framework, I have another video of me breaking that down. That is Alex Hormozi's closing framework. Closer stands for clarify, label, overview, sell, explain, and reinforce. So clarify why are they here, clarify what their goals are, label them with a problem, and then overview their past pains. That's all I'm doing on the discovery call. On the second call close, that's on a Zoom with them. That's where I'm selling, explaining away their concerns, and reinforcing the sale. So let's go ahead and dive into specifically the discovery call. So the first letter is C. I'm clarifying why are they here? Why are they on the phone with me? Why do they want insurance? Why specifically do they want the IUL? Before I can even start selling them anything, I have to first figure out what are their goals? What are their financial goals? Because what our job is, and I'm communicating this to them on the discovery call, that my job is very simple. The only thing that I'm doing here is I'm trying to figure out where they're trying to go, what are their financial goals, what does their current situation look like, and then how can I, with my products and services, the IUL, how can I allow them to get from where they're at to where they want to be smarter, faster, and safer? How can I bridge that gap? We are not selling at all on this discovery call. We're not talking about the IUL. We're not talking about the product at all on this discovery call. Really, we are selling, but what we're selling is the second call. If you are an insurance agent that struggles with getting your clients to show up for the second call, that purely is just communicating to you that you suck at your discovery and you're not selling the second call well enough. So on the discovery call, the first set of questions I'm going to be asking them is, what are your financial goals? They're going to give us a plethora of different things. Every single client's going to be different. Some people are going to say, I want to buy a house in 3 to 5 years. Other people are going to say, I want to invest in real estate. Other people are going to say, I want to retire early. Some people are going to say, I just want my money growing for me instead of just sitting in a savings account earning less than 1% interest, not outpacing or hedging against inflation. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. You need to be writing it down. You need to be writing down all of their financial goals. Now, don't be a lazy salesperson and just get their financial goals and leave it at that. If they say, I want to retire early by using income-producing assets like real estate investments. Okay, you don't just write that down and move on to the next thing. Absolutely not. If they say, I want to retire early, you don't just write that down and then move to the next thing. You need to peel the layers of the onion back. You need to ask multiple questions as to why. Hey, I want to retire early. Perfect. Why is that important to you? Now you're getting them thinking. Why is that important to you? Oh, that's important to me because, I've been busting my butt. I grew up watching my dad, grind and work crazy hours. I never really got to see my dad growing up, and I don't want my kids to experience that same thing. Boom. Now you're getting into the real reason why they want the IUL. They don't want the IUL because the IUL is cool. Nobody wants investment accounts, cash value life insurance accounts, real estate properties. Nobody wants these things because they want the asset or the investment or the cash value life insurance policy. They want it for what it can do for them. So you need to figure out what they want. What do they really want? They don't want passive income. They want what passive income gives them. They don't want to retire early. They want what early retirement gives them. So that's why it's so important after you ask, what are your financial goals? Get the list of all the financial goals and then start back from the top one and say, why is this one important to you? Why is this one important to you? Why is this one important to you? And if they still give you a vague answer, ask why again. Right? Yeah, I want to retire early. Or I'll say this. I want to okay, how about this? Sure, we'll just stick with I want to retire early. Okay, why is that important to you? Just because, that's important to me because I don't want to work my whole life and I want to just be able to get out of the workforce sooner. Okay, that's great. I totally understand that. But why? That's a good question. I guess the reason why is because, I guess just growing up, I never really got to see my dad much because he was always working. And I just don't want my children to really deal with that same thing. Boom. You found the real reason, right? Why? Now, because you've asked layering questions. Now, I have my script pulled up right here. So I'm going to be looking up here. I have my script for my discovery call. I have my script for my second call close. So I'm looking up here. That's why. I can give you guys these scripts. I have no problem doing that. Again, I train, mentor, coach, hundreds of life insurance agents within my sales team. If you want access to all of this stuff, then, there's going to be a link in the description below to apply to join our sales team. I'll look through your guys' applications, and if I like what you say on your application, I'll just shoot you a text or call you just to kind of talk to you and see if you'd be a good fit, and you can get access to all of our assets that we use within our insurance agency. So after you ask what's your biggest financial goals right now, why are those goals important to you, then you're going to ask, ideally, when would you like to hit those goals? What's the timeline? I want to buy a house. When? In 1 year, in 3 to 5 years, in 5 to 7 years, 7 to 10 years, like when do you want to buy a house? I want to retire early. When? At what age? Right? I want to be financially free. When? What's your timeline for that? And then you need to be writing that down in your notes for that client. The next thing that you want to ask is more so their current situation questions. So like, what accounts do you currently have right now? Right? Just a checking savings account? Are you using a Roth IRA? Are you using an IRA? Are you using mutual funds? Are you using other investment accounts? Are you invested in crypto? Like, what accounts you currently have right now? And then write all those accounts down so that you at least have an idea of where they're at and what they're currently utilizing as of right now. And then you need to have the balls to actually ask them, okay, how much do you have in your checking? How much do you have in your savings? How much do you have in your Roth IRA? Right? All those different things, because you as a financial professional need to have an understanding of what that is. And if you happen to get pushback, which you should almost never get pushback, if you ask confidently and if you position yourself as a financial professional, you should get no pushback. If you happen to get pushback, then the next thing that you're going to want to say is to say, hey, look, as I kind of mentioned before, what my job is to do is my job is to figure out, what your financial goals are, which I already have a good understanding of what that is based on the previous questions I just asked you. Now what I want to do is, if I truly am going to be able to do my job properly, which is build out a financial plan for you to execute on those financial goals that we just discussed, I need to have a good idea of what I'm working with right now so that I can do my job to the best of my ability and really put together a sound financial plan for you. And there's no way I'm going to be able to do that if I'm building in the dark, if I'm blind, if I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, so again, how much is in the checking? And then you just loop right back to the question that you originally asked in the first place when you initially got pushback. So, and then you would ask, okay, So you have a savings account, a checking account, a Roth IRA, an IRA, or whatever amount of accounts they have. It doesn't really matter. The next question you guys are going to want to ask is, how much are you putting away each month towards those goals? You said you want to buy a house in the next 3 to 5 years. How much are you putting away per month to save up for that down payment for that house? Now, I take things above and beyond, and I think you guys should do the exact same thing too. And these are certain things that I teach all my guys that sell with me, is figure out where they live, and on your phone, or you literally use Chat GPT and look up what's the median home price in that area, right? In that city, in that town. And they'll be like, yeah, so, I have a lot of clients that are in that area as well. The median home price out there is $600,000. Do you have $120,000 in cash to buy a house in the next 3 to 5 years? Or, based on, and you just ask what accounts they had and how much money they have too. So you should know what they got and what you're working with. It's a flex. It just makes you look so much more professional when you say, like, again, just like what I said, yeah, I've worked with clients in this area before, and I've helped them set up plans with similar goals to you as to buy a house. So the median home price in the area is about $600,000. You're going to need 20% down. You're going to need $120,000. You have $17,000 in your savings account. So, I guess my question for you is, how much per month are you putting away to actually hit that goal of getting your account to $120,000 so that you have enough for a down payment for that property that you want to buy? Dude, they're going to, like, they look at you completely different. Like, you were way different than, like, some random other, insurance agent or even a financial advisor or whoever heck that they've talked to prior to you, right? And so now you're asking how much they're saving, right? How much are they saving, all that type of stuff, and how much are they putting away towards their goals? It's important that you frame it in that way. How much are you putting away each month towards your goals? And if you guys were smart, you guys would have a notebook out right now, and you guys should be taking notes. If you have not been taking notes, restart this video and watch it up until this point and take notes. Because there's two types of people who are just going to watch this video for entertainment, and people who are actually going to take notes and apply this stuff directly into their business and make money from the value in this video. So, how much money are you putting away each month towards these goals? Guys, the typical answer is nothing. There's two types of people in this world. There's people who have financial goals, and there's people that actually put a plan in place to execute on those financial goals, right? Most of these people have financial goals, but they have no plan put in place, which is why they're talking to you, okay? Now, we're going to move away from asking about their current situation, and we're going to go to the pain points and the gap. So obviously there's a gap between where they want to be and where they're at now, and we're supposed to bridge that gap. And so we need to figure out what are some pain points here. So, realistically right now, you got about $17,000 in your savings. You need $120,000 in order to have enough cash to put down to buy a house. Do you feel like you're on track right now? Like, if you were to continue to keep doing what you're doing right now, do you feel like you're on track to execute on those goals in your 3 to 5 year timeline? Now, the way I just asked that, you're going to get a yes or no answer. Depending on people's sales styles, some people like to get a yes or no answer, some people don't. If you don't like a yes or no answer, because that kind of like ends the conversation, now it's up to you to carry on the conversation. If you just want to have a nice flow, another way that you could reframe this question is just by saying, okay, so you have $17,000 in savings. You need $120,000 in order to go ahead and have enough as a down payment for this house you want to buy in the next 3 to 5 years. I guess if you were to keep doing what you're doing right now, how long do you think it would take you to get that account to $120, if at all? Now what just happened is you're forcing them to have to give you an answer which you can now build off of to carry on the conversation, right? Again, every salesperson is different. Maybe you might like a just straight yes or no answer. Maybe you might want to reframe the question and get more of a timeline. How long do you think it's going to take, if at all? You're already instilling doubt in their head that what they're doing now is currently not working, which is why they need to work with you, right? So now the next question you're going to ask is, so how long have you been wanting to hit this goal? They're going to say, I've been wanting to buy a house. I'm 35 right now. I've been wanting to buy a house since I was 25. I've been wanting to do this goal for 10 years, right? Whatever the answer is, however long they say, it doesn't really matter. Next thing you're going to say, next follow-up question you're going to ask is, okay, for sure, you've been wanting to buy a house for the last 10 years. I guess, what's been kind of holding you back, right? So let's just assume that they said that they're not saving for a house right now, or that they're not saving as much as they'd like, or they have been saving. However, their money is just kind of sitting that they're saving. Their money is not working for them, right? So this is a very powerful question. What's been holding you back? Because now whatever their answer is that's going to be a very strong tie back that you can use later in the sale on the second call close. All of these clarifying questions that we're asking, everything that we're writing down in our notes about the actual client, we're going to be able to use all those as tiebacks to help us anchor the sale on the second call, right? And then now that's all clarified. We're done with clarify now. Those are all the clarifying questions. So if you're taking notes, now I'll write down label. So now you want to label, you want to basically summarize everything and then label them with a problem. You want them to admit that they have a problem. A doctor cannot diagnose somebody. A doctor cannot prescribe the solution to a disease or cancer or whatever if they have not been diagnosed yet, right? So we have to diagnose them with the problem, which is why labeling is so important. So, for example, I would say, okay, so, been taking a lot of notes. I feel like I have a really good understanding of, what your goals are, have a good understanding of what accounts you're using, how much is in there. And I'm glad that you shared with me, what's kind of holding you back. Just so I make sure that I didn't miss anything and that, I'm taking proper notes down. I just want to go over this with you real quick. So it sounds like your main goal is that you want to buy a house in the next 3 to 5 years. However, what's been holding you back is not knowing where to start, not being able to utilize an account that's earning a high enough interest to outpace the rate of inflation. And basically what you're trying to do right now is try to figure out what are some different options that you can utilize to allow you to shorten the amount of time it's going to take for you to save $120,000 to use as a down payment on a house. Does that sound about right? Yes, that does sound right. That's exactly, that's perfect. That's spot on. Perfect. They literally just diagnosed themselves with a problem, and you are the financial doctor that has just showed up to be able to prescribe them with the actual solution to their problem. For example, an IUL, right? Now you're going to overview past pains, which is essentially just overviewing what they've done in the past. Sometimes you can't skip this if they've done nothing in the past, right? Maybe they tried using a high-yield savings account. Maybe they still are trying to use a high-yield savings account. Maybe they have tried or are using a normal savings account. Maybe they're using a Roth and they plan on borrowing from their Roth or whatever it may be. You want to overview their past pains. So you just want to be like, what have you currently been using, or what has been your game plan, or what do you have in place right now to allow you to save $120,000 in the next 3 to 5 years? This is when you decide whether to just skip overview or whether to actually dive into overview. If the individual says, if the potential client says, honestly, nothing, based on what I'm doing right now, I don't see how, with what I'm doing right now, that I'll ever be able to save $120,000 in the next 3 to 5 years to buy a house. That is your signal. Pass overview. Just skip over overview. If they say, well, the plan that I currently have structured right now is I'm saving in a high yield savings account, earning 4% interest. Or right now I have a CD that I'm earning 3.5% interest on that I'm utilizing as basically the fund that I'm using right now to specifically use as a down payment on my house. Now you stay in overview. And you just start poking holes through everything that they're saying. Let's just say, for example, it's a high yield savings account or a CD. Those are typically the most two popular things that I come across. So then I would start poking holes through the current plan that they have set up so that they'll want to utilize mine even more. So I would just say okay, so, since COVID, Obviously, how they gave everyone $2,000 stimulus checks. Government printed a lot of money during COVID, right? Yes. Okay. Well, obviously, we turned the money printing machines on. Inflation has increased quite a bit. Average inflation is about 6%. So I guess if inflation's at 6% and you're earning 3, or we'll just say 4% in your high yield savings account, you do understand that you're still losing 2% of your purchasing power year over year, right? You know that you're losing money by saving money. You are aware of that, right? No, I never thought about that. All you're doing in overview is just poking holes through the current plan that they're utilizing right now, right? And then you start planting the seed on the second call. Like, the whole point of the discovery call is to sell the second call, right? So I just be like, oh man, well, I'm taking notes here. Like I said, after this call, I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to really plug and play some numbers for you. I think you're going to be really excited to see what I put together for you, just because, I already have some ideas of some different accounts that we might be able to utilize to have your money still outpace inflation instead of having your money just sitting, actually growing. So your money is working for you, so that you can actually get to that $120,000 amount much quicker. Without putting your money at risk and without having to pay any type of capital gains taxes or anything like that. So then you transition after overview. Then you transition into selling the second call. So going into the second call, after you've gotten all the information, you got a whole page of notes here on them on there. You clarified, you labeled, you overviewed, you're all done with all that. Now we need to book the second call. So this is how your transition is going to sound. Awesome. Well, here, I feel like I have a really good understanding of what your goals are, where you're currently at right now, and the plan that you're utilizing now, and or, you don't really have any plans set up right now. So I'm just going to take everything that you shared with me today. I'm going to build out a financial plan for you. Basically, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to build out a custom financial plan for you based on your wants and your needs and your goals. And again, like I've mentioned at the beginning of the call, my job is just to get you to hit these goals smarter, faster, and safer. So like I said, I'm going to plug and play some numbers for you. I'm going to try to build out, whatever I can. What time do you typically get off work tomorrow? Or like, what time do you get off work tomorrow? Or what time do you typically get off work? I always ask this question because a lot of you guys will ask questions like, what's your availability look like tomorrow? Or are you able to jump back on a call in the next 1 or 2 days? Like, no, do not say that at all, please. That's the worst thing that you could say. Instead, you want them to literally admit to you that they are free the next day, so you can jump on the next day and strike the iron while it's hot. So you want to say, yeah, so what time do you get off work tomorrow? I get off at 4. Perfect. You know that they're free after 4 now. Okay, so you get off work at 4. You're probably going to commute home, probably shower, eat some dinner or something really quick. What time would you be available after you get off work tomorrow to sit down on a Zoom with me so I can actually share this financial plan that I'm about to build out for you tonight? I just want to be able to walk you through all of it tomorrow. And then they'll say, I go to the gym. I get home from the gym around 5. I'm definitely going to want to shower, get a bite to eat. I'll be ready to jump on a Zoom at 6. Perfect. What's the best email to send this calendar invite to? And then boom, you book the second call. So now that's the whole entire discovery call. So we're done with that now. Now we're going to jump into the second call close. So now I would, put a line through your notes and I'll put second call close. This is everything we're going to do on the second call. Once you jump on, you're going to recap, right? Just have some quick banter back and forth. Hey, last time we talked, I asked you some questions. I just want to get a better understanding of your whole situation. Today, really what I want to do is I just want to, break down your financial plan with you, just walk you through everything that I kind of built out for you. So what I want to do first is I just want to just have a quick recap, just go over everything that we kind of discussed yesterday. Basically, what we'd mentioned is that, your goals are X, Y, and Z. And after breaking down your numbers and the current accounts you have X amount of dollars in this account, you have X amount of dollars in this account, you're making X amount of dollars per month, you're saving X amount of dollars per month, your expenses are X amount of dollars per month. Sorry, I kind of skipped over that actually. When you are going over their accounts, you also want to ask them how much you make per week, how much do you make per month, what are your expenses, what's your disposable income, right? And just get that solid idea so you know how much they can contribute to an IUL. And then you're going to go over the plan. So basically, you had said that you're saving about X amount of dollars per month. And so what I did is I just put a plan together, kind of showing you what it would look like if you were contributing X amount of dollars per month into this account, into this specific type of policy. That would allow you to hit all these goals. And then from there, you would then transition into sharing your screen. And you're going to pull up the illustration. Now, this is where everyone F's up, right? Most of you guys will literally sit there and explain all the features of the IUL, which is the biggest no-no ever. You never, ever, ever, ever want to do that. The reason why is because all you're going to do is just confuse the hell out of your prospect. They're going to tell you they need to think about it, or they're just going to say, like, this is too good to be true. None of this, I've never heard of any of this stuff before. And then they're just going to not want to move forward, right? So what you guys need to do is sell the vacation, not the plane ticket, right? If you're trying to sell your boys on, a golf trip or a ski trip or something, all you're talking about is how fun the ski trip's going to be, how fun the golf trip's going to be. You're not going to be selling them on how expensive the Airbnb is going to be, buying all the food for the Airbnb, selling them on TSA and how it's going to be a pain in the ass, checking your golf bags and checking in all your snow gear and how much money that's going to be. And you don't sell the features, you sell the benefit. You need to sell the vacation, not the plane ticket, okay? They could care less about how they reach their financial goals, guys. They could care less. They don't care about that. All they care about is hitting the financial goals because of what it's going to be able to give them, right? So that's what we need to focus on here when we're showing the illustration. That's why it's so important to have those tiebacks. So yeah, you had mentioned that your goal was XYZ. So I built out this financial plan for you. This is why this plan is going to allow you to do that. So basically, we want to be able to hit that $120,000 as fast as possible, right? We want to outpace inflation. So this account is averaging anywhere from X amount to X amount a year, year over year. What's cool too is that you said that you want to buy the house in the next 3 to 5 years. The reason why using something like an IRA doesn't work, or reason why using this account doesn't work, is because your money is locked up in money jail until you're 59.5. We obviously don't want to do that. So we need to utilize an account that allows you to access this cash at any age, tax-free and penalty-free. This account is going to allow you to access X amount of dollars in funds in year 5. You're going to have $120,000 in here in year 5. You're going to be able to access the account to put that down payment on that house, just like you said you wanted to. And you're literally just explaining, you're just selling them the vacation on how everything they wanted, this account, this cash-free life insurance policy is going to do for them, right? You're not getting into the caps. You're not getting into the spreads. You're not getting into the different participation rates. You're not getting into all the indices. You're not getting into you are not getting into all that nitty-gritty stuff. All you're going to do is confuse them, and then confused people do not buy. You just need to make sure that you're building out a solid plan for them that's going to perform, so you can confidently jump on the Zoom and tell them, hey, if you fund this the way you're telling me you're going to fund it, if the account does the averages as it's been doing the last 30 years historically, here's the potential of what this account will have based off of historical averages and based off the scheduled premium and based off of the predictions of what this account will do. You'll have X amount of dollars in there to achieve those goals, right? That's literally the sell. That's selling, right? We're selling, explaining away concerns, and reinforcing the sell on this call. So that's the sell. It's very, very, very easy. A lot of you guys way overcomplicate the sell and overcomplicate the illustration. The illustration is the easiest part. The numbers sell themselves. You don't have to sell the product. The product sells itself because the IUL is such a badass product. And then E, explain away concerns. If they have any questions, they're going to right away, probably right after this, ask you a couple questions as any normal person would. You have to know your stuff. You have to be able to answer the question confidently. You have to be sharp as a thumbtack. You cannot be doing ands, stutterings. Oh, I need to ask my upline. Oh, I need to ask my da-da. No, you should just know your shit, dude. Like, realistically, you should just know your stuff. And if you don't have a trainer or a mentor or someone who knows their stuff to teach you, well, guess what? You have the wrong mentor. You're with the wrong company. You need to be working with somebody who knows this stuff through and through, who's going to be able to teach you, someone who you're going to be able to shadow, someone who's actually going to be able to turn you from an insurance agent to an actual financial professional who really, really, really knows their stuff. So you're going to explain away their concerns, and then you're going to reinforce the close, or you're just going to go to the close. I have 3 different closes that I like to bounce between, depending on who I'm talking to. So I just have a gut feeling of which one's going to work. The first one is called assuming the close. So yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Client, after kind of reviewing all these numbers with you, clearly we can kind of see that this account is going to be able to go ahead and allow you to achieve your goals smarter, faster, and safer. So obviously it is a cash value life insurance product. Because it is a life insurance product, we do have to get you approved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the application. We're going to go ahead and get this submitted. That's the assuming the close. Then there is the, is there any reason why we wouldn't want to move forward with this? Yeah, so obviously Mr. and Mrs. Client, after going over all these numbers, again, obviously based off of this, and this, we're going to be able to achieve this, and this. Is there any reason why we wouldn't want to move forward with, getting your foot in the door and submitting an application today? Then there's that close. The last close, this is kind of my favorite one. This is like I don't know like what you'd call this. I'm just gonna say what I say. This is like the the curiosity close, I guess. You're doing a little bit of a temp check almost. You'll say, okay, again, after looking at all the numbers, clearly this plan, outperforms what you're currently using right now, or this is a really solid plan that will really help you out just because you got nothing, you're not putting anything towards a down payment right now. Would you be curious to see what next steps would look like? 99%, guys, I've literally never had a single person say no. And I've closed thousands of IULs, and I have had hundreds of agents close many more thousands of IULs, and I've never had somebody say no. And it's super easy to say too. It's not like intimidating to say. It's just like, yeah, so after going all the numbers, seeing everything, would you be curious to kind of hear about what next steps could potentially look like? Yeah, I'd be open to hear what next steps look like. Perfect. Well, again, it is a cash value life insurance policy, so we do have to get you approved. So, they're just gonna run a background check on you, make sure you're not a convicted felon. They're gonna run a motor vehicle report on you, make sure there's no recent DUIs or DWIs, depending on what state you're in. And then they're also just going to pull your medical records just to make sure that you're a healthy person, okay? And then from there, you can assume the close, right? And just be like, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull up the application. We'll go ahead and just knock all this out, and then I'll let you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Just whatever that looks like. So, so you guys have the discovery call. You guys now have the second call closed. I would love for you guys to actually go ahead and go out and try this, use it, implement it, and then come back to this video and let me know in the comments if this helped you. If you got any value from this video, obviously make sure to give it a thumbs up. I'm sure you know a ton of other people in the insurance space. Send this video to them so that they can also gain value from this video. All I want to do, guys, is just provide as much value to as many insurance agents as I possibly can. If you have a lack of leadership, if you learned more from this video than you have from your mentor, you are with the wrong mentor. Click the link in the bio, apply to join my sales team. I would love to take you under my wing and teach you everything that I know. And you think this is good? Imagine jumping on our we have trainings twice a week. Obviously, if you're in my sales team, you can book as many one-on-ones with me as possible. You can call me as much as you want. You can text me as much as you want. I'm looking to take over the entire insurance space. I see the competition out there. A lot of these guys, all they do is just recruit, no training, or all they do is just sling final expense policies, and they don't actually teach you how to be a legit financial professional. All you're doing is just slinging final expense policies that you have a 40% persistency on, which is garbage. So yeah, with that being said, make sure to subscribe. Ton of more valuable content is to come. And yeah, share this with your buddies.